So today's talk is going to be on yoga and the psychology of consciousness. For many of you who might be listening to this lecture today, you may already have a yoga practice. And we're going to be talking today about how yoga can be a very profound tool to experience not only authentic health, abundance in your life, but also to awaken to your full and highest potential and for you to feel the power that is within yourself. So let's talk briefly about what yoga is. Several thousands of years ago in the ancient Indian culture, the yogis of India created the science of yoga as a means to alleviate the cycles of suffering in life. Whether those sufferings were physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And in fact, yoga was first created as humanity's first science of consciousness. It was a psychology of understanding the essence of who you truly are. In our modern world, we can see that yoga is really a form of soul psychology. It is a psychology of consciousness. Because what yoga does is that it enables us to surrender and to heal all those wounded and fragmented patterns of consciousness that are imprinted onto our being that prevent us from living in true authenticity, in true alignment to who we are, and to celebrate the joyous sacred being that we are. The Sanskrit word for yoga, Sanskrit being the ancient sacred language of India, has this word yoga. The very first time we see this word yoga is in the very early Upanishads in the ancient Indian texts going back a few thousand years ago. And it defines yoga as union. Now, what exactly does that mean when we say yoga means union? And what the ancient yogis try to advance is that yoga is about experiencing the ultimate union between the individual self and cosmic consciousness. The individual self was a word that they called Atman, A-T-M-A-N, Atman. And once we were able to bring into union, or to bring into reunion all that we are as an individual soul with all that there is on cosmic consciousness, that is what yoga is about. Yoga was primarily, in its essence, and still continues to be in India, primarily a way for everyone to experience the sacred union between Atman, which is the individual self, with Brahman, which is cosmic consciousness. And so what are the things that prevent this union from happening? In my opinion, as someone who is not only a yoga instructor, but also a spiritual counselor, and someone who certifies people getting trained to teach yoga, I always say that there are four primary things that prevent us from experiencing the ultimate union with all that there is. The very first being the sense of illusion that we are separate. The second being the monkey mind that always wants to flit around and always wants to get distracted from really being and abiding at the center of your being. The third being the false sense of the ego. And the fourth being the imprinted patterns of consciousness that exist in all aspects of our being. The Dalai Lama once said that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And so what yoga does, what it teaches us, is how to extend the practice we do on the mat for maybe 90 minutes a few times a week to extend that practice into the greater yoga mat of our life, and to understand that even though we may not be able to eradicate pain from our lives, suffering is a choice that we choose to have. And so what yoga does, in its essence, it teaches us how not to suffer. Yoga, thus, is a celebration of who you are. It's a celebration of spirit. It's holding to be sacred all that you are. Your light, your dark, your good, your bad, your joys, your vulnerabilities, your pain, and your love. And so yoga for me always continues to be a way and a means to remember who you truly are, to release suffering from your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.